December 20th, 2009, Hollywood Hills. A young woman lies unconscious on the cold bathroom floor. In just a few hours, the world would be rocked by shocking news. One of the most talented and beloved actresses of her generation, Brittany Murphy, was gone. She was only 32. The official cause? Pneumonia, anemia, and complications from prescription medications. But behind the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, there were hidden truths, secrets that may have played a part in her tragic end. What really led to Brittany Murphy's death? How could a star so bright fade away so young? Brittany Murphy was born on November 10, 1977, in Atlanta. She grew up in Edison, New Jersey, raised by her single mom, Sharon Murphy. Her father, Angelo Bertolotti, was serving time for drug-related crimes and was never part of Brittany's life.
Hi, my name is Brittany Murphy and I go to Hoover Middle School.
From a young age, Brittany dreamed of performing. Singing, dancing, acting, they came to her as naturally as breathing, like she'd been rehearsing them since before she was born.
I'm 10 years old.
Where's this all living?
Broadway or Hollywood. First I wanted to go to Broadway, then Hollywood. And then I just want to do a bunch of things.
When Brittany turned 13, Sharon left everything behind to move with her daughter to Los Angeles, chasing Brittany's dream of stardom. Brittany's talent quickly caught the attention of producers. Early TV roles made her recognizable, but it was the 1995 hit Clueless that became her big break. As Ty Frazier, Brittany charmed critics and audiences alike, becoming a cultural icon for a generation. But behind that natural charm was a fragile young woman longing for love and acceptance. Even then, she felt the pressure of Hollywood, a world that demanded perfect looks and nonstop success. After Clueless, Brittany starred in films like 8 Mile, playing the love interest opposite Eminem, and Sin City. These roles showcased her range and won over fans, but Hollywood's pressures began to take their toll. To keep up with industry standards, Brittany transformed her image. She dyed her hair blonde, lost weight, and molded herself to fit the celebrity mold. On the surface, they were just cosmetic changes, but they reflected deeper struggles with self-worth. Brittany was a hopeless romantic. She dreamed of true love, a Prince Charming who would shield her from the harshness of the world. She craved someone who would see no one but her, but her relationships often ended in heartbreak, deepening her belief that she didn't deserve real love. One of her most high-profile romances was with Ashton Kutcher, whom she'd met on the set of Just Married. Their early chemistry soon gave way to clashing personalities and problems that led to their breakup. Afterwards, Ashton publicly downplayed their relationship, a painful blow for the sensitive Brittany. Other relationships were just as turbulent. Broken engagements, partners who took advantage of her gentle nature. Brittany kept searching for someone who would truly understand and accept her. Meanwhile, despite her success on screen, her career began to lose momentum. To make matters worse, in 2003, Sharon was diagnosed with cancer, and Brittany devoted herself entirely to caring for her mother, pulling her even further away from Hollywood. In 2006, Brittany's life took a sharp turn when she met Simon Monjack, a British screenwriter and producer known more for controversy than success. He reached out to Brittany, offering her the lead role in a project called White Hotel. Enchanted by the offer, Brittany was quickly drawn into his world. Simon promised her a comeback, and his protective nature pulled Brittany in. Before long, he wasn't just her husband. He became her manager, stylist, and advisor. But Simon had secrets. He faced accusations of financial fraud and shady dealings. Brittany's friends warned her about him, but blinded by love, she was determined to build a family with Simon. Before long, he had isolated Brittany completely, cutting her off from friends and even some family, taking full control of her life. Their relationship became tabloid fodder. While Simon painted himself as the devoted husband, rumors swirled that he was manipulating Brittany and exploiting her Hollywood connections. The house Brittany shared with Sharon, and eventually Simon, had once belonged to Britney Spears. Spears reportedly sold the home, claiming it was haunted, describing nightmares and an unsettling atmosphere. Brittany, too, never felt at ease there. She often preferred staying in hotels rather than the cold, unwelcoming house she called home. In November 2009, Brittany was working on a film in Puerto Rico. Unsurprisingly, she brought along her mother and husband. By then, the three of them were practically inseparable. But shortly after arriving, Brittany was fired from the project. all because of Simon's behavior. He showed up drunk on set, acting inappropriately, and the director let Brittany go.
It was reported this week that actress Brittany Murphy was fired from her upcoming film The Caller for being a detriment to production, and oh no.
Instead of heading home right away, the trio decided to make the most of their time there and turned it into a short vacation. Unfortunately, a massive storm hit the island's northern coast, and both Sharon and Simon, and later Brittany, fell sick with a bacterial infection. Back in Los Angeles, Simon and Sharon recovered fairly quickly, but Brittany's health kept declining. Despite feeling terrible, Brittany pulled herself together to attend the December premiere of her final film, Across the Hall. But many people noticed how much weight she'd lost in recent months, and how distant, almost vacant, she seemed. Her condition worsened to the point where she even told Simon's mother, who was living in the UK, over 5,000 miles away. Why she reached out to her mother-in-law, no one knows, but following her advice, Brittany finally scheduled a doctor's appointment for just after the new year. But why the wait? Why didn't Simon or Sharon rush her to a doctor sooner, when it was clear their beloved wife and daughter was wasting away right in front of them? As you've probably guessed, Brittany never made it to that appointment. On December 20th, Sharon found her daughter unconscious in the bathroom. Brittany died later that day at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. The official cause of death was listed as pneumonia, anemia, and complications from prescription medications. Brittany Murphy's death raised a lot of questions. How could a 32-year-old actress let herself get into such a severe condition, and why didn't her husband or her mother step in sooner? According to the autopsy, Brittany's body showed traces of prescription medications that, combined with anemia and pneumonia, had severely weakened her system. Doctors pointed out that such a complex set of conditions likely stemmed from neglected health issues and chronic stress. One key factor in her sudden death was the medications she was taking. Yes, they were illegal, but the buildup in her system may have pushed her body past its limits, especially given the health problems she was already battling. Things got even murkier when her father, Angelo Bertolotti, ordered independent hair testing. The results suggested Brittany may have been exposed to chemical substances found in rat poison, but experts were quick to point out that hair dyes often contain similar compounds, which could have thrown off the test results. The difference between hair testing and blood testing is important here. Hair shows long-term exposure, while blood reflects the body's condition at the time of death. In Brittany's case, the blood toxicology reports matched the autopsy. No signs of poison. Still, some theories suggest Brittany may have been poisoned. There were even rumors about toxic black mold in the house, possibly affecting both her and her husband's health. Mold can cause everything from breathing issues to a weakened immune system. Officially, mold was ruled out as the cause of death. But let's be honest, paperwork can say anything, and experts aren't infallible, especially if you watch that footage where Simon invited reporters into Brittany's house. That house was a total cluttered mess. It's not what you'd picture when you think of a Hollywood celebrity's home. And look, I'm not here to judge. People can keep whatever they want in their own homes, but when you've got piles of stuff crammed into unventilated rooms, that's a breeding ground for mold. No question about it. 5 months after Brittany's death, her husband, Simon Monjack, died under eerily similar circumstances, also from pneumonia. That coincidence fueled even more speculation. Was there something toxic in the house, or some other hidden factor behind these tragedies? Adding to the intrigue, the coroner on Brittany's case was Ed Winter, the same guy who handled the deaths of Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Paul Walker, and Kim Porter, P. Diddy's ex. It's worth noting that Ed Winter himself passed away last year of natural causes, just before a second autopsy was planned for Kim Porter. Interestingly, Kim Porter, like Brittany and Simon, also died of pneumonia, which is a pretty unusual way to die these days, given how advanced modern medicine is. But that's not the only thread leading back to Diddy. Remember, Brittany once dated Ashton Kutcher, who's known to be a close friend of Diddy's. Kutcher has long been involved in nonprofits fighting child sexual exploitation. It's a bit ironic, isn't it, that one of his best friends is now accused of exactly that. There were whispers that Brittany knew some dark Hollywood secrets and was planning to go public, possibly about child trafficking and what that's really about. Now, sure, it all sounds like something out of a conspiracy thriller, but these kinds of theories have only gained traction in light of the recent wave of accusations against big-name celebrities. Could Brittany have crossed the wrong people in the industry? It's all speculation, of course. I'm just laying out the stories I came across online. And these days, with Diddy under arrest and facing charges, people will connect just about anything to him. Internet sleuths love that wild edge of conspiracy theories. Then there's the question of Sharon Murphy, Brittany's mother, who was by her side her whole life. Some have suggested Sharon's decisions may have impacted Brittany's health, although there's no evidence she had any direct role in what happened. What did raise eyebrows was that Sharon reportedly sold Brittany's used lingerie shortly after her death, and that she shared a bed with her widowed son-in-law because, allegedly, it made them feel less alone. But hey, who am I to judge? Maybe celebrities and their families just have some unusual ways of coping with loss. People close to the two women have firmly denied that Sharon had anything to do with Brittany's death. In fact, they say Brittany and her mom had an incredibly close bond. Sharon gave up everything for her daughter. We'll probably never know exactly what was going through her mind, but one thing seems clear. If Brittany fell under Simon's influence, Sharon did too. Blaming a grieving mother who lost her child doesn't really get us anywhere. What you can fault her for, though, is not stepping in when Brittany's health was clearly deteriorating. The same goes for Simon, who also failed to help Brittany as she got worse by the day. It's hard to say what Simon really wanted from Brittany, but one thing is certain. He skillfully ensnared two vulnerable women, Brittany, who craved love, care, and security, and her mother. Brittany believed everything Simon told her. She saw him as the father figure she'd missed growing up, the best friend she'd never had, the man who wouldn't abandon her when she let her guard down. But Simon turned out to be a cold, calculating liar and con man who left Brittany isolated, fragile, and utterly defenseless. Could Brittany have been saved? Absolutely. She was living in Los Angeles, just minutes from one of the best hospitals in the world. All it would have taken was a doctor's visit, some iron supplements, and proper treatment for her anemia. Of course, you can go digging into all the rumors and theories I've talked about today, but realistically, if someone had just acted in time, Brittany Murphy might still be lighting up the big screen or the theater stage.